Anatolia was a very old base on 2B2T. It was founded by Sato86 in 2013 and was the starting point of Valkyria. Today in this video, I will be telling you the history of Anatolia from the perspective of Sato86. Anatolia was Sato's first base on 2B2T. The reason why he named it Anatolia was because the name is a random map choice in the game Age of Mythology. Sato liked that map, so he called the base Anatolia. Sato built there on February 22nd, 2013, which was 2 days after Sato started playing on 2B2T. After he escaped spawn and walked 30,000 blocks in the Nether Highway, he decided to go to the other axis by Overworld, which was an awful idea since he spent 2.5 hours sailing in what seemed to be an endless ocean. After hours of sailing, he eventually found land and decided to build a place near the ocean. Sato started to explore the underground and started digging more to expand the surface structure. He transformed the underground into a layered farm so he can make use of the space with more cobblestone. After this, he expanded the structure and built walls. It was around this time that Sato would invite a player named Drew Bookman to the base after Sato saw him talking in chat. Drew seemed likable for Sato at the time, so he invited Drew to Anatolia, and he accepted Sato's invitation. Later on, Drew suggested inviting another player that he knew named Pyrobyte, and Sato agreed. Sato was the player doing most of the building. He expanded the main building to make an extra room for Pyrobyte. Sato would then start to mess around with lava and water to see if it could be used for building purposes. He would also build a big platform and pour lava on the sides just behind the main structure. He then builds another structure on top of the platform. When the lava solidified, the process wasn't perfect. He noticed there were lots of missing lines of cobblestone, which he had to fill in manually. In this screenshot, you can see how it looked on the inside. Drew contributed to the base by building a blaze grinder in the nether. Sato also built a railing system leading to a nether portal after Pyrobyte moved the portal away from the base. After that, the group got bored and they went exploring the outer region of spawn. They ended up making a spawn base, which was called Argo Outpost. Shortly after, a temporary map happened, which led the group to meet the crew from Hitler Wood, which also led to the creation of Valkyria. Anatolia was left abandoned for a couple of weeks. Afterwards, Sato, Pyrobyte, and Kinorana returned to Anatolia, but they were not there to base again. The group had a plan to make a massive stash near the base that would serve the whole group. This stash was made in the ocean, around 5,000 to 6,000 blocks away from the base. This stash would go on to last 3 years and help the group multiple times with supplies, including the construction of the Wrath Outpost, which helped them bring items and blocks like ender chests and enchanted golden apples. After they were done supplying Wrath Outpost, Sato mostly stayed around Anatolia to finish what he had started. He decided to turn the platform into some sort of hanging garden by using jungle saplings they had duped. It was around this time that Valkyria was griefed by Drew Bookman. Sato couldn't help defend Valkyria since he was at Anatolia. Sato left Anatolia to pick up the pieces at Valkyria and help the others regroup. Anatolia stood pretty much the same for months as other events unfolded. This made the group want vengeance for their fallen base. A player named Hinder JD, who was part of Valkyria, went to Drew's solo base since Drew trusted Hinder JD and gave him coordinates to the base. Hinder JD wouldn't go alone. He went with the players Night Vista and Cold Wave to assist him as well. When they got there, Drew Bookman was also at the base. This gave the group the opportunity to blow up the solo base and kill Drew Bookman at the same time. Eventually, Hinder JD would kill Drew Bookman with Kino's Master Sword. Drew would quit the game for a few months after this incident. He later came back on the server and tried to reconcile relationships with Sato and Pyrobyte, but once they found out his intentions were not honest, Drew turned sour and blackmailed to use Anatolia as his personal base or lead the coordinates himself. Another incident that revealed Drew's true motive was when he griefed the Valkyria Council. Sato watched Drew remove all of the white wood tree from the building and was going to replace it with some obsidian structure, but Sato interrupted him. It was possible that Drew was about to prepare a lava cast since it looked like there was a start of a stair formation. He escaped from Sato by using a teleportation exploit, which basically allowed players to teleport to spawn at will. This made the relations between Sato and Drew dwindle even further. This led to Sato telling Pyrobyte of Drew's blackmail. Pyrobyte was very furious when Sato told him that Drew was blackmailing them, and there was also the problem of the stash nearby Anatolia. If Drew actually decided to return to Anatolia and base there, there was the risk of him finding the stash eventually. Pyrobyte then suggested that they could grief Anatolia and blame it on Drew. That way they would solve two problems. Drew would have nothing else to threaten them with, and the stash would be safe. Sato agreed to the plan, and they would also inform Kino Rana and Jack the Ripper about it. Pyrobyte was the closest to the base, so he decided to do it himself. But the problem was that, when he was supposed to announce that he in quotes found the base griefed, he shared the picture of a lava cat still being formed, with the water not yet running down the structure. A player named X0XP noticed this, and called out that something was wrong. How could he have found the base griefed if the lava cat was just formed? This started a mild controversy, and the in quotes Sato/Pyro did Anatolia memes started to spread around the server. After Pyrobyte had left the server, Sato came clean about what really happened at Anatolia. In his eyes, the base itself could very much still exist if it wasn't for Drew, so in a way, he is ultimately responsible for the base's fate. The stash was later griefed by Tristan 3 years after Anatolia was blown up. He would also leave a sign there, saying that he was the one who blew up the stash. In Sato's opinion, Anatolia was the starting point of a legacy that lasted for 3 years. Today, Anatolia is still recognizable. The structures are somewhat intact, but there are obvious craters around most of the base. Sato also rebuilt Anatolia on an archive server called Project Vault, since there was never a world download taken when Anatolia was still intact. A random player went to the griefed Anatolia, and a world download was taken. It was put on the archive server, and Sato repaired it in creative mode. This fixed version of Anatolia is now on another archive server, since Project Vault has been taken down. Here is the IP to the new archive server if you want to check out Anatolia. It's cool to see that even after all of these years, old bases like this are still remembered till this day. Thanks for watching. I would like to thank Sato86 for the information for this video. Leave a like, and maybe consider subscribing for more information like this in the future. Anyway guys, stay fast, and see you guys next time.